Now we have the basic skeleton with its controllers placed, and they allow us to animate our skeleton. And so we want to generate the binding of this skeleton to the geometry. Right now the geometry is all, let me turn it on here, all separate pieces. So we are going to select the whole, all of the geometry pieces. Make sure I delete history. This one is grouped for, oh, let me just hide the shapes. I'm sorry, I'm going to hide the shapes. So I look at the geometry just by itself, no shape nodes. So I'm going to select just the geometry and I'm going to combine it. And we're going to combine it with the intention of making it a single unit, so that when it goes to the game engine is read as a single piece. Still, we are going to maintain the shaders, so the shaders are still connected to the different parts, only that they are not reading individual pieces. And we are going to now delete history on this object, so that the group that it was part of, I'm gonna rename this. I'm gonna call it uh, toy body. And I'm going to now bind this object to that skeleton. So I'm going to select my root joint, which is shows like a curve, because of course the curve is the shape, so that's why it shows, but that's just choose the skeleton. I'm going to select my geometry, and I'm going to go to my rigging menu set again, and this time I'm going to say skinning, bind skin. We use join hierarchy, that's going to connect all the joins to the whole thing. Closest distance, and I just keep, we're gonna put here 2 influences. Actually, you should put just 1, but just put 2 for now. Apply 2 influences per join. So of course, if you try to move it and move this thing, the influences, when I say 2 influences, is that the joins are being affecting just 2 components. So it kind of works, but there are things that are kind of deforming weird. So this one, for example, would be my movement. So my toe would go with this. And if I wanted to animate this one I'm not sure how good will do the job. It's not, because of course the wheel is being affected by other joints. So we're gonna use an approach here to do the weight painting. Well, you could do weight painting. The typical weight painting would be to go in Windows, paint skin, weights, and then go and start selecting joint by joint. So say for example I go with the root, and the root is one at the bottom, but the root actually I don't want it to be influencing anything, and I could go and um, I don't actually need the root to do anything there. So because the root is going to be driving the whole thing, but not driving any specific body parts. The waist I needed to influence. Just put this 1.5 here. And the waist I needed to influence the body. Somebody just gonna say, if I say flood, it's going to flood the whole thing, so I don't want that. I would have to go and paint all of the ways connected to it. And yes, I can do that, and that's the base of doing weight painting. But I'm not going to do that actually. I'm gonna have a different approach. I'm gonna select my geometry. I'm gonna go under Windows, General Editors, and I'm gonna go for the Component Editor. The Component Editor has a section here that it's called Smooth Skins. When you have something bound to it, it should show the smooth skins. Now I can now go and select the vertices of this part of the body. For example, I'm going to just click on one vertex right there. I'm going to use my shift key and my period key, or the greater than sign, which is the same key, shift and greater than sign. I'm going to start increasing my selection, and I'm clicking until I select the whole part. because they are separate parts from the rest of the body. I cannot go and select the other ones. So now this is selecting all the vertices. This is showing the influence that all influence that those vertices are receiving from the different parts. Some of them are receiving more than what they need. So in this case, I only need the waist to give influence to that body part, nothing else. So I'm going to go and select from the very top to the very bottom. Under the waist, I'm going to type 1.0. So only that joint is influencing that part, nobody else. So that way, let me minimize this. So if I go and look at the skin weight, just to confirm, I'm not going to paint, I'm just going to confirm. You see now that the waist is influencing 100% of that. And I'm going to continue doing the same trick on all of the other parts. So I'm going to go, the light is going to be the same thing. Click on the light, shift, period, till you get the whole part selected. I just do it over it, do it multiple times, and then go and select the first one, shift select the bottom one and type 1.0. That way the waist is the only one that is going to influence on that. Alright, that makes it a lot easier. What about the wheel? The wheel, of course, same thing. Making sure that I get all of it selected. I'm also going to add the two covers and then continue increasing. Now making sure that both got selected there, yes. And then of course those are going to be on the wheel joint, not on the root. You see now they're splitting between half and half. I'm gonna go one on wheel joint, so I'm gonna say one, and that way now if I grab this controller and I rotate the wheel, let me just show the grid here. You see the wheel follows just that joint. All right, that's great. So let me do the other ones very quickly here. I'm gonna go and grab this guy, vertex, that one. All right, and that one, it's going to be on the left shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna pause my video here and do them all, and then I'll see you when I'm done with it. Okay, so I went through the whole thing now here, and so I painted all of it, and you see that now added the weight influence through the component editor, made it a lot easier for me to modify and correct, you know, all the different parts, so I can animate them more precisely here. You can see everything works correctly. If you make a mistake, like for example, this one worked okay, that's good, but in this one I made a mistake, and although it's working because it's pivoting here, but if you make a mistake, like you assign it to the wrong joint by accident, like in this case I assigned this one to the wrist joint when I should have assigned it to the elbow. So if you look at my weight painting here, I connected most of it to the wrist. So you go and then you simply select the elbow and then paint on it. You simply just add a little bit of it on the elbow joint, on the one that you want it to be painting, and then you can go back to the component editor and select, of course, the vertices and do the trick one more time. In case you have weight painted it all of it, add all the influences, and then you decide, oh, that was the wrong joint, you can just simply paint on it. And then I'm going to do all of it to the elbow, not to the wrist. So I'm going to say 1.0 there. Alright, so my character should be all good to go now in terms of animation. Let me just make sure I select by object mode. And again, this one will move his main controller. This one moves his wheels, or his wheel, and ears, and so on and so forth. So all good. So no problems with my object. It's almost ready for animation. I'm just gonna just minimize this here. You see how I keep it clean here. I have a couple of stored elements and I'm going to delete those so my rig is clean. I'm just going to increment and save my file here.